I'm really spontaneous about how I see friends. I think that's the kind of life we live these days. And so it might just be a chance phone conversation I'm having with someone and I'll say, let's get together, come round for supper, and then I might think of someone else I want to see, and then all of a sudden there are 8 people coming round. And I'm getting back from work late and I'm thinking, how am I going to produce food to feed everyone? And so over the years, I've come up with a toolbox of really great, simple recipes that just buy me some time, and I always have lying around in the cupboard or ready to prep, which really help with that easy entertaining and just getting something out there with minimum fuss. So I'm going to take you through a bunch of my absolute all-time favourites, and we are going to start with my chili oil, which is so delicious and it's really simple to do. I would go online and buy a few chilies, invest in them. They last in the store cupboard for weeks, months, and they're always great to have in your back pocket. This chili oil will last 4 months and you can drizzle it over everything, and it's just a great thing to have in your larder, in your cupboard, to drizzle over last minute feasts, stir fries, or just put on the table and let people slather it all over their food. It's delicious. So I'm going to make you salsa macha, which is the most amazing chili oil. It comes from Ensenada, which is in Baja California. So there's this lovely long finger down the west coast of Mexico, and then the top half is Baja California. And Ensenada is an incredible fishing village where they export loads of fish to the rest of the world. And in this place, there's a street food stand called La Guerrense. And this woman called Sabina runs it. And everyone from Dita Von Teese to Salma Hayek, to loads of people go there because the food is so good. And she makes this salsa macha, which is from this region. And from Veracruz, actually, they make it too. And it's essentially a chili and peanut oil. And it is really sensational. It's so delicious. So the chili that you would use to make a salsa macha is chili de árbol, which is basically like a tree. It's called a tree chili. The árbol is a tree, and it's quite a hot chili, about 8 out of 10 in heat. It's a dry heat. It's kind of a dry, searing, grassy heat. But when you toast these chilies in oil, they become nutty and rounded. So you don't only get heat, you get this wonderful nutty, rounded flavour too. So a classic salsa macha would only use these chili de árbol. But over the years, I've started using other chilies with them too. So the one I'm going to make you also has cascabel in it. Cascabel, named after rattlesnake because of the shaking of the seeds inside. Cascabels are very, very mild. They're nutty, they're fruity, they are absolutely delicious. So they've got almost no heat to them, but they add lovely background flavour. So if you were making this at home, go online, there's loads and loads of stockists, they're in the notes of this class. But essentially, chili de árbol is an absolute essential for this one. If you can get some cascabel as well, it's going to taste even better. And then otherwise, if you have some guajillo, also adds a lovely roundedness. But I just wanted to show you a range of chilies and talk about the fact they add flavour, not just heat. Please do not be put off by the fact you haven't heard of these chilies before, or you might not have them in your cupboard. Go online and buy them, because once you've got them with you, you'll use them in so many different recipes. And this chili oil literally takes 10 minutes to make, and it lasts forever, and it is so delicious. It's really, really worth. Just go online, buy the chilies. So first of all, we're going to de-seed them. So I'm just going to get my gubbins bowl, and the seeds are the really hot thing. So we want less heat and more flavour. I mean, we want some heat, obviously, but we just want to shake out those seeds. So that's essentially what we're going to do. Get rid of all the stalks. And I have got about 20 grams of chili de árbol here, which is how much we're going to use. So I'm literally just taking the stalks off and then shaking out the seeds, which have all the heat. So you see there, just whip off the stem. And this takes very little time at all. And you can even keep the seeds if you want to grow some chilies. That would be fine too. And so all these, what we're going to do is we're going to toast the chilies in some vegetable oil. So these cascabel too, I'm going to take out the stem. I'm going to shake out the seeds. So this would be a cascabel macha because it's got some of the flavour of the cascabel in it too. But as I say, if you just get the chili de árbol, it's delicious and it's a simpler version. Or if you want to be a bit more experimental, try getting hold of some cascabel. And there we are. So So that's shaken out. So I'm not going to use the rest of these chilies. Taken out my seeds. Now the first thing I want to do is toast my sesame seeds. The reason we want to toast these first is because you want to grind them first. If you start putting oil into your blender, then your sesame seeds won't grind down. And it's quite nice to have the solids in the chili oil. You want the kind of oil, but you want solids. So that what we want to do is toast the sesame seeds straight away. And we're just gently toasting them in a frying pan. And while we're doing that, I'm going to get my oil on. So I've got 200 mils of vegetable oil. And I'm going to put it on a kind of medium heat. Now the trick with oil is to heat up fairly gently, because once it starts heating up, it then gets really, really hot really quickly. And what we want to do is we want to toast things. So I've got my sesame seeds, we're doing in a dry frying pan. So I'm going to gently toast those. But meanwhile, we've got peanuts here. And if you've got a friend who's got a peanut allergy, there are people who are allergic to peanuts. You can also use almonds in this, you can use cashew nuts, or you can stick to just sesame. So there are those options. So I've got peanuts, I've got 5 whole, really fat, lovely cloves of garlic. So the garlic is going to add a lovely, rich, round sweetness to the chili oil. The peanut's going to add that kind of real umami, toasted peanut flavour. And then these chilies, we're going to toast all of these ingredients in the oil. We're going to toast them for a few minutes each, just so that it brings out all the nutty, toasted flavours, but before any of them burn. Because the nuts, the garlic, all the chilies burn, your oil will be bitter. So we're just going to gently toast them and then put them in the blender, whiz them all up, and your chili oil is done. So, get my oil on, toast my sesame. So I've shaken out the seeds of these chilies, but what I'm also going to do is I'm just going to tear them into a few chunks, because we want them to be underneath the oil when it goes into the oil. So if you just drop that into a kind of inch of oil, it's not going to cover all the chili. So I'm just going to tear them into a few pieces, just like that. So you can see my sesames are lovely, slightly caramelised and browned, and they're ready to go into my blender. Move that oil there, turn that off. So we're just going to scoop them in. There we are. Just going to do that. So now I've got my sesame done, I'm going to grind it first, because I really want that sesame into a kind of paste for my oil. So I've got no oil in here, just the sesame. There we are, and I've got the lid, and we're just going to blitz it quickly. There we are, that's all there is to it. Ooh, it's already smelling so good. Now that I've got the sesame done, I can focus on all my other ingredients. So I'm going to start with my nuts. I've got my peanuts here, and that oil is hot. I can turn it up a bit actually. So you can use a thermometer. You want a temperature of about 150, 160 degrees, something like that, not too hot. You want to bring out all the nice flavours, the toasted elements of these ingredients without burning them too quickly. You can normally tell they just sizzle gently when you add the ingredients. So we're going to put the peanuts in now, and they're just going to sizzle gently together. And these are just going to toast for a couple of minutes until they're nicely, gently browned. So they are really looking, you can see they're looking a really lovely pale caramel colour almost. So these are ready to go now, because we do not want to burn them, because then they will taste bitter. So that's the type of colour you want, just the pale caramel. So we're going to put those in the blender. And it's really useful to have a big, wide slotted spoon here, just to get all your ingredients out as soon as you can. Or you can use a little sieve. If you've got a kind of little tea sieve or a coffee sieve, you could use that as well, if you don't have a big slotted spoon. There we are. Okay, so we've got the nuts done. Now for the garlic. So I've just got my 5 garlic cloves. In they go. And they are going to sizzle. And again, we just really want to bring out the flavour of them. Caramel flavours, lose some of that raw garlic flavour, get that softened, sweeter notes of garlic. So we're going to toast them a bit. And I'm just going to adjust the heat a little bit down. That's going to be another couple of minutes. And literally they have been in the oil for 2 minutes. You see they're lovely and kind of browny, caramel coloured. And there they are, they're done. So now, lastly, the last bit of cooking is the chilies. So this I'm going to do in a couple of stages because I really don't want to burn these chilies. If you burn them, you lose all the wonderful flavour notes. So we're going to put the cascabel in first. And at this stage, I'm turning my oil right down because I want toasted, wonderful flavour to come out. And you can see how those chilies have changed colour. They're just absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to scoop them out right away. That was like 45 seconds maximum. And you can tell when they're cooked because they smell fragrant, they change the colour of the skin, and you just get this incredible aroma of kind of toasted, rich, vibrant chilli flavour. So now I'm going to put the rest of my chilies in, the chili de árbol. And my oil is hot enough, I've taken it off the heat now because all the residual heat is in there and it can catch the back of your throat, the chili vapour. But you can see in front of your eyes the colour of these árbol chilies changing. They're going lovely dark, rich colour. And again, that's all we need. We've got about 30, 40 seconds and can you see those lovely colours? And they really smell and taste nutty now. Brought all those rich flavours out. So in the oil they go. Okay. So now, okay. I wish we had smell-o-vision because honestly, if you could smell these right now, you would be getting into your kitchen straight away to taste them because the smell and the fragrance, the aroma is just so delicious. The umami notes these chilies are going to bring to the chili oil are unreal, combined with those toasted nuts and the garlic. So we want to whiz these down now. So I'm going to add a bit of liquid to help the blender get going. So this is some cider vinegar. We're going to add like 2 tablespoons. And the Mexicans use vinegar a lot in their cooking. The acidity is really important to offset the kind of richness of some of the meaty braises, but also some of these chili oils. Acidity is really important. And when you think about how good vinegar is for you, I mean, the Mexican housewives, they just make amazing vinegars. They have them lined up on their windowsill from guava, pineapple, apple. So this is apple cider vinegar, which we use a lot in Mexican cooking. So I've got 2 tablespoons in there. I've got Mexican oregano. So this is available easily online. It's actually related to lemon verbena, not the oregano plant that we know in Europe. It's medicinal, it's really highly prized by lots of Ayurvedic doctors. But if you don't have it, you can just use thyme or just normal oregano. So I'm going to put in about half a teaspoon in there, and it's just going to give lovely floral herby notes to the oil. I'm going to put a tiny bit of sugar in. Caster sugar is good, or soft brown, like half a teaspoon, just to round off those rich notes of the chilies. And sea salt. Now, a chili needs seasoning to bring out its flavour. It really, really does, and it absorbs a lot of salt. So I'm going to start with a teaspoon. I'm going to put a teaspoon and a half, but I'm probably going to need a full 2 teaspoons of flaky sea salt in there to really help those flavours go. And that's it. We're just going to put this blender on. And now that I've got those going, I'm going to add some vegetable oil. So I've got my hot vegetable oil here, but if I add that hot straight back to my chilies, it's going to carry on cooking, it's going to burn them. So I've got some cold vegetable oil here. So I'm going to throw in 200 mils, roughly, and we're going to use that to get the blades working. And we're almost there now, it's almost ready. So that's all we need to do. It's quite nice to have a bit of texture in your chili oil. Sometimes I even split out my peanuts and add half at the end, so you get some really lovely crumbles of large chunks of peanuts at the end. I'm going to add the rest of my oil. Now, the reason I'm going to use all this cooking oil is it's got all the flavour in it. It's got the chili flavour, the nutty flavour is it going, the garlic. So now that I've got the cold oil in, this is not going to burn anything. So I'm going to pour the rest in there, give it one final whiz, and then you've got to taste it. That is literally all there is to it. So I'm going to taste it now, and it is smelling incredible. Now this makes a large batch. You can always take these quantities down, but I feel like if you're going to make it, you might as well have lots. Last forever. You can even give it to your friends as presents. They will love you forever. If you give them a bottle of this, honestly, you'll have friends for life. And can you just see all those like incredible like textures in there? And I mean, it just looks incredible on a plate. You can put it on noodles, you can put it on fried eggs. Often when I just am at home at night, toasted sourdough, some braised greens, some of this on and a fried egg. I mean, that is dinner. That's just so good. Oh. It is so delicious. You've got lovely gentle acidity from the cider vinegar and all those toasted, nutty, sesame, garlicky, chili notes, tiny bit of herbaceous from the oregano. Honestly, this chili oil, make it now. So I'm just going to pour it into my jar. And again, if you've got little bottles at Christmas, this makes such a great Christmas present for your friends. I'm going to pour it into my Tupperware. This lasts a good 6 months in your cupboard. You see all those lovely solids going in at the end. And there you have it. That is my Cascabel salsa matcha. It is the most brilliant store cupboard tool. It transforms so many delicious dishes and it makes a killer present. So that's one of my toolbox items. And now I'm going to show you some more.